Mabuhay! Good day to all! I am your tutor Madge. Welcome to ETULay, a free online tutorial, an initiative of the Department of Education, Information and Communications Technology Service, Educational Technology Unit, ICTS EdTech. This program is aimed at helping and assisting learners from kindergarten, senior high school, ALS, Alive, and SPED learners. Aside from answering the modules, the ETULay is offering programs which you will surely look forward to. Together with our parents and teachers, the ETULay will bridge the gaps where difficulty and ease meet in learning new knowledge and skills. So, let us prepare our modules, pen and paper. Ready your mind to see and hear worthwhile and interesting lessons. Let us now study and learn, together with our volunteer online tutors. Tara na!
Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. It is actually September 21, 2021 today. It's 21. I think 21 is a lucky number. So happy Tuesday and welcome to Oral Communication in Context. And you know the drill, if it's Tuesday, it is time for English Day and it's oral communication from 4 o'clock until 4:40 in the afternoon. Sir Alvin, how are you doing?
Okay, I'm just fine. Hello, Tutor Nova. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All
How are you
right.
doing?
So I'm fine and very excited to meet our participants for this afternoon. So hello, everyone. Okay, so
Alrighty.
let's read some comments. I think Tutor Nova. So we have here Kimberly. Okay, here is Joseph Conrad Bulaklak from Pasay City North High School, grade 12 ICT. Hello, Joseph.
Yeah, hello everyone. Good afternoon.
And also we have okay, please mention our dear students, where you coming from, your school, your
Yeah, they
province.
can. That's right, Sir Alvin. We should make this class as interactive as possible because, as John Dewey said, you learn by doing. So, in this class, you can learn more by interacting with your dear tutors. And since it is ETULay Level Up, so we are two here in our session. So, I am really happy to be joining Sir Alvin here for today's session. And I think here, our students in the class are with us as well. I can see a lot of students from City of Bogo Science and Arts Academy. They're actually the ones wearing green frames. So hello, thank you, and please comment what school you come from so we could acknowledge everyone in the class.
Yeah, and I would also like to greet our students from Santa Maria National High School, Macabebe Division of Pampanga. Good afternoon. And of
All
course,
right,
to
good afternoon.
our students in the division of Pampanga. Hello. So now, Tutor Nova, last week we talked about, right, the functions, nature, and process of communication, right? And
Bingo, right.
okay, based on I asked them to share the experience about the first session, and luckily we were able to pick out, all right. So the output which stood out last meeting. And
Oh, great.
yeah, shall we present him,
Yeah, we
ma'am?
should. We should feature
All
the
right.
output.
So, okay, here is the reflection or output of Mark Blaton from Sagad High School of SDO Pasig City. So, in his reflection, he mentioned the wonders of speech and oral communication, which is very important and vital. And also, he mentioned that it is an art, no? Mark considered it as an art because we can express our ideas and thoughts by using our voices. So,
Right. Well, actually, Mark Platon has always been an achiever and such a loyal student to ETULay. Since I think the beginning of ETULay, he was already there. And I think Mark Platon is such an inspiration to everyone who are with us here in our virtual class because Mark Platon never missed an episode, especially in oral communication in context. And I can see how driven he is. When he wanted to step up the game when it comes to his speaking skill. And I do admire him for that.
Yeah, so we can see the active participation of Mark. So I actually sent him a personal message encouraging him to do more, to perform, um um uh, to be consistent, right? And in his performance in oral communication. So good job, Mark. So I
Great.
hope our other students will also do this. After our discussion, we'll be sharing, all right, their reflection about
That's true.
what we are
Yeah,
having
hopefully
every
hopefully we
session.
could engage more learners to um, express what they have learned or what are their takeaways in every session that we'll have here in ETULay. And of course, they can also feel free to join our DepEd ETULay page so they could interact with us even more. And of course, highlight or even showcase their outputs on that page. So feel free to join our growing family of DepEd ETULay. So, Sir
Yeah.
Alvin, I am so happy to be here today. So I'd also like to give the floor to you so you could discuss now with our topic for week number 2. So to our director, you can also exit me from the stream.
Okay, thank you, Tornova, and shout out also to our director. So, good afternoon. So, hello, senior high school learners. So, time check, it's 16 minutes past 4. So, today is Tuesday, a new day, an amazing day. Welcome to another fun and exciting learning adventure in oral communication. Together, we will learn and win with yours truly, Tutor Alvin. So, before we begin, I would like to say to greet and say good afternoon to all our viewers in our ETULay online tutorial session. Okay, to our active and participative learners. So, hello to to Jonathan Yanga of 12 Leviticus from Santa Maria High School. How about Maria Cassandra Roque? Good afternoon from Bekuran High School, 12 ABM Abraham. All right, we have also here Stephen. Good afternoon. Also from Bekuran High School, we have here Daisy Apollonio. So, and to our students from Bogo City High School. So, good afternoon. Now, okay, and here is Mark Platon. Good afternoon, Mark. So I hope you'll just be comfortable on where you are right now because we'll begin our discussion for this week. So it's week 2, and we'll be having our lesson 2. And these are the models of communication. The models of communication. So in this session, you should be able, or it is expected that you'll be able to, number one, differentiate the various models of communication. Second, explain the process of communication through the elements, okay, involved. And recognize the importance of the models in understanding the communication process as applied in everyday life. All right. So, but before that, let's have first a recap. I hope just to check whether you really understood our past lesson from the session 1, the functions, nature, and communication. I'll be giving you some quick review in the form of a very short quiz. All right, so here's the instruction. So you just need to read and analyze the following items and choose and comment down below the letter of the best answer in our comment box. So hello, good afternoon also to Sir Joaquin Lupaz watching from Santa Maria National High School. So good afternoon, Sir June, our school senior high school focal person. Happy viewing, sir. Good afternoon. So we have also here Angelito Lovo from 12 Genesis, and Graciel made the bag what how to read it, Bagawisan, all right, from San Mariano National High School, Maine, grade 11, Yums Mandela. Ayan. So that's right. Tutor Nova is also here, noting that all the interactions here are on the live. So please don't miss every session and every minute, of course. So are you ready? Please give me thumbs up in our comment section and heart reaction so that I could flash on the first question for our review, or yeah, review of the past lesson. Okay, can I see your reactions? All right, so I see a lot of hearts. Okay, so number one is, what do we call the process of sharing and conveying messages or information from one person to another within and across channels, context, media, and cultures? Is it letter A, communication, B, transaction, C, connection, or letter D, gift giving? Okay, I want to see the letter of the best answer. Okay, okay, so a lot is answering communication, and that is correct. Very good. Let's move on to the second question, second review question. Communication cannot occur within a single person. This statement is it true or false? What's your answer? Communication cannot occur within a single person. Please comment also the number of the item you're answering, right? Okay, so it is, okay, you're right. It is false because communication can also occur within a single person. Take note of that. The third is, this refers to an interaction where behavior is used to convey and represent meaning. Okay, let's have letter A, verbal communication. 2, non-verbal communication. C, spoken communication. Or letter D, written communication. What kind of interaction is that? Wherein you are not using words, rather you use behavior, action to convey and represent meaning. We call it, yeah, I see a lot of letter B because B is the correct answer, non-verbal communication. Down to the second to the last one. It is the process of converting the message into words, action, or other forms that the speaker understands. What do we call this process? Is it A, decoding, B, encoding, C, feedback giving, or letter D, it is channeling? What do we call that process of converting the message into words, actions, or other forms? Yeah, and so I see the answers from Simon, from Mel, from Hannibal. Okay, here is Vichy. According to her, it's decoding. Okay, are you sure? Finalize your answer. It is okay. It is, yeah, that's right, Edgy Palabay. It is encoding. It is encoding. And the last question is, okay, we also talked about the functions of communication. So let's have a review. Expressions such as, I believe in your ability, you can do it, and don't give up, communicate what? A, information dissemination. B, control. C, motivation. Or letter D, social interaction. Okay. What does these utterances, what do these utterances express? To inform, to control, to motivate, or to social interact? Okay, here is Marvin Lakap, one of our sharer. Okay, Giselle and Shane, Rosette, they answered the one thing, one option. Even Jenny and Stephen, it is motivation. All right, so well done, and way to go. We're way to go. So let's move on now to our next lesson, because I am very sure that you mastered, or somehow you're very familiar already with our lesson 1, the functions, nature, and process of communication. That's why we have to move on. Okay, handa na ba ang lahat na mag-move on? Please comment down below because we'll be having now our next lesson, the models of communication. Okay, so what are the different models of communication? How do they differ from one another? And what is its importance in understanding the communication process? So let's go. But before we have it, I want you to decipher, okay, the word from these jumbled letters and be guided also by these pictures. What do you think is the word you can get or you can have from these jumbled letters and from our images at the background? Okay, what's the word? Okay, so here is okay, Simon answered model. Okay, so good afternoon, Rainidel Salunga Soriano from Beccaran High School. Hello, yeah. Kisha, Chris Ann answered model, and even Amjo and Rosemary. Is that right? Yes. It's model. Okay? Model. Models are everywhere, and they seem to be very helpful. All right, in everyday situation, in education, in business, or even in the arts. Just like please consider this one. This is a model of the earth, and we call it, okay, a globe. All right, we call it a globe. And thanks to the globe, because we are able to somewhat have a visual, okay, or a picture of what the earth looks like. And even the countries located, their location is specific location, because we all know that the earth is a very vast, okay, gargantuan thing. So through a globe, through its model, which we call the globe, we can somehow have a picture of the earth, or somehow a visual of how the earth looks like. Next, how about this one? All right, so ilang araw na lang, Pasko na, di ba? So in this scene, it shows the nativity, okay, the nativity scene, or the birth of Jesus. But then in actual, we were not able to 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 be on that scene or to witness that. But thank you, no, for the pictures, for the images we see, and also to this one, to this miniature representation. And what do we call this model? We call this model as a diorama. We call it a diorama. Another. How about this one? When you are writing, okay? Yeah, a Belen. Okay, a Belen is simply a model, right? Of on how the nativity scene, okay? What happened during the nativity or the birth of Jesus Christ. So we can consider a model. We can have a picture of what happened that time. Now, in writing an article class, an essay, we are guided, right? Diba? We want some model. We want some structure or guide when we are writing our essay or article. What do we kind that model we are following in writing an essay or an article? We call it, yeah, it's the format. It's the format. And another thing is, when you're being asked about anong gusto mo paglaki mo, right? Diba? You have some people who you idolize, na gusto mo ring maging kamukha, kagaya paglaki mo, and we call them your, or you consider them as your, all right, your role models. Okay, your role model. So just like what I said, models are everywhere. Just like in communication, we have to understand and we have to know the models of communication so that we could gain a deeper understanding and perspective on how communication works. So let's begin and let's learn the models of communication. Okay, that's right. Mary May Johnson role models. So shout out to to our teachers from Santa Maria National High School, Macabebe, Pampanga, Raycar Ocampo Musni. Good afternoon, happy watching, sir. To our students, Divine, hello there, and even Angelica Ann. So let's continue. When we say communication models, according to Business-topedia in 2018, these are systematic representations of the process which helps in understanding how communication works can be done. Just like what I said a while back, models in any aspect are very helpful because they give us an overview or what we call a bigger picture or a very detailed picture, a structure on how a thing, how a process works or looks like. So through models of communication, we can which is represented graphically, diagrammatically, we can what do we call it? We can clearly, right? That's the right term, clearly see how the communication process works, what are the elements involved, and how it begins and how it ends. So that's the importance of understanding the models of communication. And we are we undergo or we experience different communicative situations. But what do you think is the right model to follow or to use? Let's learn. So models of communication are classified into three. It can be linear, interactive, okay, or transactional. So without further ado, so are you still there? Okay, please comment down below if you're ready. So let's begin with the linear model of communication. So the linear model of communication, consider the following situation. Or yeah, communicative situation. What do you think is common among these following? First is when you are reading, when you are watching your your favorite TV program or channel. How about okay, listening over the radio of the most updated news? How about reading a newspaper? Reading a newspaper. And even okay, listening to the priest reading of the gospel. What is common among these situations? Okay, Carl Yabut answered a one-way process. All right. A one-way process. You got it, Carl. So that's great. So another thing is in these situations, yeah, that's correct, Daniela. There's no feedback. There's no direct feedback. Imagine you're reading a newspaper. You seem to be communicating with the writer, but can you directly reply to the writer on the newspaper? No. How about watching a TV? Watching on TV. Okay, your favorite reporter is saying something to you. Do you think you can give direct feedback to him or her? Definitely not. So in these situations, there is no the receiver cannot give direct feedback because in the linear model we follow the one-way process. We follow the one-way process because in this model, the sender only sends, the receivers only receive, and that's the end of the story. No switch role. The sender only sends, the receivers only receive. That's it. Why? Because here, there is no concept of direct feedback, making it one way. And this is the linear model of communication. Now, I want you to focus on this specific model that I'm presenting right now. Do you think it follows the linear model? Do you think it follows the linear model? Notice the elements present and how it goes. Is it a linear model? Is it a linear model? Yes or no? In linear model, there is no feedback. There is no feedback. Can you see feedback in this element? Sorry, in this model. So no feedback, right? So therefore, it is right. No feedback. So definitely, it is a linear model of communication. It's linear. Okay. Yeah, that's correct. Like Marvin, the direction, there's only one direction, no feedback. So it is a linear model of communication. That's right, Spencer, dos. It is linear. And to be specific, we can name this model as, I see already answers here, the Shannon-Weaver model. Okay? Shannon-Weaver model is under the linear model of communication. It is also a one-way communication process. Just like this one, okay? It was proposed by Claude Elwood Shannon, all right? And Warren Weaver. And it is called the mother of all communication models. So let me present to you how the Shannon-Weaver model works. First, we'll begin with the information source or the sender, and after that the message will be sent to the encoder, also the sender, who will encode the message, and the signal will be sent to a channel. Of course, remembering channel as the means or way on how we can send a message. But then we must be careful because the noise source could somehow interrupt or interfere, okay, the transmission of the message from the source to the destination. That's why be very careful and be watchful of the possible barrier, specifically noise source. Let's continue the process. After the channel, there must be a received signal going to the receiver, who will then decode the message. And lastly, to the destination. Once the receiver understands it, it's very definite that it already reached its destination. And this is the Shannon-Weaver model. So this is an example of a linear model of communication, one way. Just to give you example, okay, have you already watched, okay, Tutor Nova and even I, okay, delivering lessons through TV, using TV, or what do we call the TV-based instruction? Okay, have you already watched us? Okay, yeah, delivering our lessons using TV. Can we consider it when you're watching us? Do you consider are we following the linear model of communication? Yeah, we do. That's right. We do. Why? Because who is the sender? Who are the sender? Okay. Again, that's a very good question. Are DepEd TV lessons linear or not? Okay, let's check it. So we, Tutor Nova, Teacher Nova, and Teacher Alvin is presenting a lesson. We are the sender and we're also the encoder. We encode it and we will be sending it to a specific channel. And what is the channel we're using to send and receive our message, our lesson? Through, what's the channel that we're using? Using, okay, TV or television. So through TV, the signal will be passed to you as our receivers or listeners. And the moment you heard it, you're listening, you have seen it. That's the moment you are receiving it. And at the time you understand it, it's the time that you already it reaches, okay, the destination. And that is a linear model of communication. It follows the linear model of communication. Yeah, Clark Marvin, linear because there's no direct feedback. In as much as you would like to answer, okay, yeah, you can answer, but definitely we cannot hear you. We cannot hear you because we're on TV, and I can't. I think we cannot hear you. We cannot see your reactions while watching our TV lessons, making it one way or a linear model. Okay, so let's proceed now to the interactive model of communication. Okay, I hope the linear model is clear to you. So for the interactive model of communication, okay, it's very obvious, very different to linear, very different from linear. It is a two-way process. It is a two-way because we have already the presence of feedback. Now, can you consider this example as or belonging to the interactive model of communication? Will you consider it? Will you consider this as a two-way process or belongs to the interactive model of communication? Okay, so Mark Gabriel Musni, interactive model is a two-way process. Yeah, Christian Chares Pestaño said, yes, 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 yes. It is an example of an interactive model of communication. Why? Because yan, sending to the receiver and the receiver will give then his or her feedback. And be familiar with this model. We call this as the Schramm model. The Schramm model, postulated or proposed by Wilbur Schramm, known as the father of mass communication. Remember the name, Wilbur Schramm. Now, let me show you how the Schramm model works. First, we have the encoder. On the sender's part, we have the encoder. He will first encode the message. Okay? Maraming salamat sa inyong mga papuso at pa-thumbs up. I really appreciate those. All right, encoder. Okay? But it would be much appreciated if you're participating and commenting on our chat box. Now, encoder. Encoding the message, and it will be sent to the receiver who will be decoding. Okay, decoding it. And after decoding the message, the receiver will try to interpret it. Of course, yung palang ibig niya sabihin, gets ko na. So now, the receiver is now ready to give the message back. So he will now, the encoder, he will now first encode and then send the message to the sender before, but now will be the receiver. So we'll decode and then interpret again. And as a response, right? Encode again, send the message, decode, interpret, encode, and the cycle goes on, making it an interactive process, making it a two-way process. So this is the Schramm model, which is an example of interactive model of communication, right? Because of the presence of feedback. All right. So another concept taught to us by Schramm in his model is the term field of experience. Because according to Flores in 2016, what is field of experience? It's everything you've ever learned, watched, seen, heard, read, and studied that makes you unique. Let's make it this way. Your field of experience is your knowledge, your background knowledge, anything that you know, that is your field of experience. And how it is applicable to communication. Schramm discussed it this way. So going back to his model, the sender on the left side has his own field of experience, and also the receiver also. And then in order for them to understand one another, their field of experience should overlap somehow so that they could have an effective and active communication. Just put it in this way. I'm going to tell you, okay, example, let me pick someone here. Example, Jenny Yabut, no? I'm going to tell Jenny Yabut about my experience, okay, or my um, reaction after watching the Squid Game. After watching the Squid Game, but then Jenny seems to be not interested on what I'm saying. So what does it mean? What does it imply? Yeah. Therefore, Jenny is not familiar on what I am saying on the movie. What I am sharing with her. So, ang ibig sabihin nun, hindi kami nag-share ng field of experience. So, napakahalaga that your field of experience and the field of experience of the receiver is somewhat overlapping, and we call that the field of common experience. Because if you're not sharing at least a little bit of commonality, of course, you'll never understand each other. So Shram proposed that it's very important that what you're talking with the sender must be also familiar to him or her, so that you'll be having an active and participative communication. So that is the interactive model. Next, let's have now the transactional model of communication. Actually, the transactional model of communication is also a two-way process. But then, let's check what's the difference of transactional to interactive. What is the difference of transactional to interactive? Since it's considered the most dynamic of communication models, and Dr. Amy Corey mentioned that communication is cooperative action in which communicators co-create the process, outcome, and effectiveness of the interaction. Yeah, so Mark Gabriel mentioned transactional model is a circular process. Let's check. Okay, the people create shared meaning in a more dynamic process. Okay, it gives the sender and receiver an equally important role in communication, according to Marvin. That's right. So in the transactional model of communication class, there is the senders or the communicators can do simultaneous task. Okay, they can do simultaneous task during the process. Okay, there can be a lot of senders, there can be a lot of receivers performing, okay, performing at the same time. So we call it transactional model of communication. Just like yeah, so thank you, Clark, for sharing your idea about the field of experience. So yeah, and there is an interchange of role. I'll be giving you a concrete example. Okay, this, can you see it? Can you imagine it? This is a transactional model of communication. Okay, it's somewhat complex because the sender and the receiver can do or perform role at the same time. Pero what problem can you see in this one? There are a lot of possible, since there are a lot of participants, there can be also a lot of noise source that can be a barrier, because there are a lot of participants, there are a lot of communicators present in the situation, so which they can what do we call it, yeah, that's correct, Mark, there are a lot of noise barriers and we should be watchful and be aware of those. Okay, just like I'll be giving you an example. What we are doing right now, you have in this you have how many sender? Basic sender. It's only me, right? I'm the source of the information. And I receive a lot of comments from you. So that means you can give feedback to me simultaneously. Di ba? Sabay-sabay kayong nagko-comment dyan. And can we call it transactional? Can we call it transactional? Can we? Yes, we can, because you are there. You are considered as my audience who are listening, participating on our discussion, and commenting and responding simultaneously. And that is a transactional model. And that is a transactional model of communication. So, yes, okay, we're done with our discussion. Let's remember, class, and do not forget that when we say communication model, we are referring to a systematic representation of the process which helps in understanding how communication works done, can be done, right? So it can be categorized into three. It can be linear, interactive, and transactional. Also, to be specific, okay, when you say linear model, just always remember it is a one-way communication model. Best example is the Shannon-Weaver model. How about the interactive model? Compared to the linear one, the interactive model is a two-way communication model because of the presence of feedback. The presence of feedback. Example, the Schramm model. And the last is the transactional model. Okay, a two-way communication model where there is a simultaneous and dynamic interaction among communicators. And look at this one. Mark Gabriel has seen the similarities among the three. He mentioned that the three models need a sender, receiver, and channel, and that's correct. So, to briefly assess your idea about the communication models, let's have this short assessment. Okay, so I hope you got it. So please react if you understand the three models, or you can distinguish, you can differentiate already. Okay, so Clark asks here, can we say that for us to have transactional model, we need at least three communicators? Yeah. Okay, who can who can do the roles simultaneously? Who can do the roles simultaneously? Yeah, okay. No, actually, it's still a two-way process when there, because what important is there's a message and feedback giving, message and feedback giving. But in the transactional model, kasi, example, I sent a message here and you replied simultaneously. You give me a lot of feedback. Okay, you answered in chorus. Okay, you are talking to me at the same time. So we can consider that as um, transactional already. So now I'll be don't be surprised because you'll be seeing another actually they can be also be classified linear, transactional, and interactive. Just look at the basic description of each model and you'll be identified, and you'll be able to identify if it is linear, transactional, or interactive. Let's begin with the first one. Okay, please notice or spot, okay, carefully this this model. Is it linear, interactive, or transactional? What can you say? Yes, that's correct, Clark. It's linear. Yeah, that's linear. And FYI, this is what do we call, aside from the Shannon Weaver, we have other models under the linear model. Okay, I want to present to you this one. This is the Aristotle's model of communication, proposed none other than by the great philosopher Aristotle. It is considered the first and the earliest model of communication before 300 BC. Okay, so this is a linear model, the Aristotle's model of communication. Okay, how about this next model? Mhm. Okay, it seems to be familiar. Yeah, it's linear because this is obviously the Shannon-Weaver model of communication by Claude Elwood Shannon and Warren Weaver. Okay, how about this one? Oh, it seems to be complex. Okay, unusual than the first two we've discussed. What model does this representation follow? Okay, will you please comment your number three? It is Tangerine Sayud says Jenny transactional, right? Just like I said before, it's not it's very complex, right? It's very dynamic. It is transactional. To be specific, this is the Barnloon's transactional model of communication by Dean Barnloon. Okay? That's right, Angelito and Julian Veralio. Okay, how about this one? I guess this would be very easy. Number four is, yeah, Mark Platon. Number three is interactive. Sorry, it's transactional. Sorry, it's transactional. How about number four? This one. Four is Christian Chares. It is linear, right? From the sender, the communicator to the effect. All right, linear. This is the Laswell's model of communication by Harold Laswell. Down to number five. Okay. Basta ang clue natin dito, pag masyadong komplikado na ang model, hindi na siya, alam na natin saan natin siya ipipwesto. Di ba? O, halimbawa, this one. This is, okay, this is a transactional model. And this is the mosaic model of communication by Samuel Becker. Sam Becker. Number six. Okay, this one. Number six. This is, ayan, from source to the receiver. From source to the receiver. It is, yes, it is linear model. And it is the Berlos SMCR model. Kaya nga, SMCR is source, message, channel, and receiver. The Berlos SMCR by David Berlo follows the linear model also. And lastly, we have number seven. Yan. Okay, I think we're still familiar with this one. We already tackled it or discussed it as one of our examples in a specific model. It is, yeah, the only interactive model. We call it the Schramm model of communication by Wilbur Schramm. All right, so congratulations. Give yourselves virtual claps in our comment sections. Very good. Okay, it's a very great experience with you. So these are my references. You can go back with your modules and please you introspect, okay, and share it in your Facebook group in DepEd EdTech Unit in our DepEd ETULay. What is the importance of communication models in understanding the process of communication? So please share your ETULay OralCom learning experience in your social media account or even in the ETULay Facebook group using the hashtag LearnWithTutorAlvin, hashtag ETULay OralCom 2021, and ETULay Level Up. So, and also, We would love to hear your thoughts or feedback on how we can improve your experience. So please scan this QR code. You may screenshot it first and then later on go on this link so that we could receive your feedback. How we can improve your experience. So all right, so please tune in again next week, same day and same time, for another learning journey in oral communication. Again, this is Tutor Alvin. And always remember, be the best in oral communication in context. Till then, happy learning! Bye, and see you next week.
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETULay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag #ETULayLevelUp. Huwag aalis ha, dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan. Dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETULay!